Well, glad you were able to make it to Tech Talk. As you're aware, today is Tech Talk in the morning, but at 1 o'clock we have the Women's Business Club happening, and we're going to attempt to do hybrid. And so we're going to be at Radius, right, at James and Augusta at 1 o'clock, and Teresa's going to run the show from her office on Zoom. So that's the grand plan. Okay. And then Monday morning is Ivan, a coffee with Ivan, and he said that he's going to be talking about how to make long-lasting relationships with business partners. Right? Did I say that correctly? Yeah. Does that work? Yeah. Okay.
That's good. It's
And
good,
then-
good memory, Catherine, because I was thinking, she's not going to ask me what that was. I've got to find my notes again, but that's good.
And then, of course, we'll have Mastermind, right, Sherry? Next Monday at 1? Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Okay. And then that's only the 9th. So, and then on Wednesday night, we have Investing with Stephen Lee, Investment 2021. And it's always, last night was like really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, got to see a lot of the dips and doodles of stock in the summer. And that's one thing that Stephen's been talking about, how it changes over the summer and how to pick out the differences between stock or is it summer activity. So yeah, that was really good. That was really good.
Very knowledgeable guy.
I'll have to catch the replay on that. I wasn't feeling that. I was asleep actually.
You must have needed
Nice.
it. Yeah, it was.
Nice.
Yeah,
It was-
well, my
it was
gallbladder
good.
was acting up yesterday, so it was.
That'll do it.
Yeah,
That'll do it.
yeah. It's still not 100%, but I'm okay.
Good, good.
Time to get it out once it starts hurting. If it bursts, you're in trouble.
But they won't take, just remember, they won't take it out till it doesn't hurt unless it bursts. I know.
Well, when it bursts, you only got hours.
I
'Cause
thought
if-
that was the appendix, but
No,
whatever.
no. Once your
Gallbladder too.
Once your gallbladder bursts, you have hours, or you
Yeah.
will not be on this side anymore.
Mm.
So if you're at the point of pain, it's time to get into and get that appointment made. I had to get mine out back in 1996. And that's why I know. And I actually got to see mine because I bumped into somebody I knew in the hospital, and he was down in the labs, the pathology labs. And so we pulled it out. They got to keep it in storage for a couple of years because if there's a lawsuit, so they keep all these organs. And he showed me mine, and it was like each time the stone moved, and I had one stone about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches in diameter. And each time it moved, the wall, the gallbladder got thinner, and that's what's happened. That's why you're having the pain, because your stone just moved a bit, and it's probably gotten bigger, and now it's stretching out that wall.
Okay, and back to tech.
So back to tech. So go for it. Yes.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna put some tech in here. I'm gonna put some tech in.
No, you lost
He
your.
cracked my stone in half and put it under a high-powered microscope. Absolutely beautiful. There was a crystalline structure, and it's got rainbows in there.
Oh.
Really, really cool. And this is like a super high-power microscope. There's your
Thank you
tech.
for putting the tech in it.
That was a long runway, Michael.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I started something. Sorry.
So,
It was an Antonov 225. It needed more runway.
so here's my question to you. Did everybody see either one of the flights for Jeff Bezos going up to space,
Both.
right? Oh, or yeah, Elon, or we had Sir Richard Branson go
Yes.
up too, right?
Virgin.
Yeah, on Virgin, right? So we had SpaceX, Space Origin, and then the Virgin.
Blue
So
Origin, isn't it?
Blue Origin.
sorry?
Yeah.
Blue Origin and SpaceX.
Yeah.
okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, and then Eve with Virgin. That's all I remember is Eve. But anyway, You heard the prices though too that go along with that. Like they're nowhere near commercial for regular people. And anybody that's a regular person understands that something like that is not going to be a couple $100. You're looking at a little bit. But I was dumbfounded to find out that there is a company out there that has existed since 2006 that does commercial 0 Gs.
Who's that?
It is called 0 G, believe it or
Okay.
not.
Is that the company where they take you up in a, they take you up, I think it's in a Boeing 767, and they do some quick drops.
Yeah,
And when you do the
Or
quick
both.
drop, you get that negative G force.
that parbolas, I believe they call it. It's that up and
Oh.
down, up and
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It was developed by an astronaut. What was it?
Yep.
Byron Lynchburg. He's veteran, believe me, they say. And a couple NASA astronauts. And they got this commercial license in 2006.
Yep.
I have it that they've got a Boeing 727.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And they modified it so that all the seats are at the back to give maximum, they have a
Error.
yeah, area
Maximum
for
terror.
maximum in-flight weightlessness, they're called. They call it, right? And so yeah, it's pretty amazing. In this flight, you go do those 30-degree up and downs, and you're going to get somewhere between 7 and 8 minutes of weightlessness, right? So let me share my screen, Mr. Ivan.
Yes, sorry.
How much is this, Catherine? How much is this?
Oh,
$7,500. Oh,
sure. Thanks,
I'm sorry.
He's very right. Yeah.
How much was it?
$7,500.
Oh my God. Well, it's better than, what was it? I think 28 million. It was cost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. It's a better bang for your buck. So yeah, I was just going to show you how you guys can see the screen.
yeah. It's like a roller coaster.
So there you go. It again, that's how they do it with those parbolas that they call them, right? And they do 15 of them.
They
Oh my God.
Hey, Catherine, why don't you show the homepage? Because on the homepage, it has a bit of a video that runs in the background.
That is it.
That's the homepage?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
No, not so much.
Okay, how it works?
Yeah, it's just
Put on the 0 G.
yeah, go0g.com/home.
Yeah, nothing like it on Earth.
Here, let me go ahead and share my screen real quick.
Yeah, because all I've got is pictures.
I don't know if anybody can see that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that goes after. Oh,
Smiley, happy people
mm-hmm.
taking their lives in their hands.
But you can see how the areas that they've got 3 of these areas, they're all padded, right? So that you can't hurt yourself. And there are ropes on the sides if you feel you need to get
Most
on.
people spend their life trying to avoid jumping around a padded room. These people are paying.
They paid really good flipping money. I'm telling you, they paid really good money. Yeah.
See, for that money, you could fly first class to Europe, or you can fly in the back of the plane and get thrown around.
Yeah.
It's your choice.
That's right. Right.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The ones that are really laughing are the guys who run 0G. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so now that you've seen the inside, they just so that you're aware, they do educational and workshops, right? Flights. They're associated with 7 universities in the United States that are doing different things, whether it be get gravity, like would be on Mars, a lunar, which is like 1/6 of the Earth. All these Mars, I don't know how you, gravity is 1/3 of the Earth, right? So they're doing all these different experiments because they have to figure out. One of them that I thought was really interesting is they're sending up gases, right? Liquid gas that has to be put together with a propellant, but they can't ship them together. So they're seeing how they will react when they get into that kind of gravity and that kind of flight, right? So that was pretty neat. So they offer these flights not only to, universities and groups, individuals and corporations, but here's the one I really loved. Okay, let me just share with you. Oh, I gotta get that window up.
I'm having a wrestling match with myself right now because my middle son is literally applying to the aerospace engineering program at Carleton.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, that's 5 hours away, but he's in Sudbury at the moment anyways, 5 hours away. But if I tell him about that program, he's going to decide he needs to go to school in one of those universities.
Yeah.
But I feel like I would be an irresponsible mother if I didn't tell him about it.
Well, well, here's the wedding,
Wow.
and it's trademarked weightless wedding. So the couple
Christiane.
plus 24 other people can join for a mere $205,000 US. And that gives you a weight of
CNN?
Christiane.
Okay, okay, guys. So how much would I charge for that wedding then?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you
Plus,
need
it
your
has to be worth
200,000 plus your fee of 200,000, so probably 400,000.
Yeah.
And they
Oh,
are
let's
literally
not-
head over heels for each other, right?
Yes, right.
Yeah, right.
So
Got
there's-
that. So, well,
Literally.
I would round it up to an even 5 then. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
really.
All I can
I
say
mean-
is that they look like they're upside down in love.
Absolutely.
So there is
Wear underwear.
There is an officiant there. There is your own videographer as well as photographer. But I thought the really funny thing was that they stressed that when we get back down to gravity is when the cake cutting and champagne happens.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to understand the legalese of that puppy because your jurisdiction
Yeah, really.
is really kind of far away. So that would be
Whose
my legal question.
jurisdiction?
Right.
Yeah.
As long
right.
as long as they're over the continental United States, it's United States, and they probably are.
Not necessarily, because most licenses are state licenses, not country licenses.
Mhm.
So that would be very, very interesting. Anyway, that
Plus,
would be
I don't think they can
Yeah.
claim airspace above a certain
Yeah.
height.
exactly. So yeah, so that would be very interesting. But you know what they do is the legalese are done
Down below.
on terra firma.
Yeah, when they get down.
Mhm.
With
Right.
and at the same time as the cake cutting, that kind of good thing or whatever, that's where it's done. And you
Yeah.
just do the ceremonial piece in space, basically.
Yeah.
So there you go. That is the answer to that for the
There you
time
go.
being.
Thank you, Christiane. We
You're
would have
welcome.
been struggling with that for days.
Oh, I know, right? Like totally.
Oh, but it did look like
Look
a
at the
lot of fun.
experience. Look at the experience we have around this room, right? I mean, we've got
Yeah.
it all.
Yeah, you're right. So as
Only
I
in this great
mentioned,
city.
one person costs $7,500. But no, if you were a corporation, you wanted to do a team building,
Mm.
you could get a half a flight, and that would be for 12 people, or 12 seats, sorry, and that's only 82,000. And if you
No.
wanted to get the whole plane, you could do that for 195. So
That's
Okay, so
doable.
Kath-
Come on,
so
guys.
Catherine,
the
you
wedding
said-
is 202. So the videographer, the officiant, the photographer, the cake, the champagne. I think you got a boutonniere and bouquet
Hmm.
and flight suit.
Oh, then
It's
I
only
do-
7,000.
actually it's cheaper than a grand than a normal wedding, actually.
Yeah, there
Um,
you go, right?
You may as well
But
just say you're
Catherine-
having a corporate event and then have two people dress up as a bride and groom.
That's
Yeah,
a great idea.
Yeah, just say we're having a corporate event and the theme is,
yeah.
right? There you go. Way to go, Thomas.
Uh.
You've got it. Now, Catherine, you happen to say it's for half a flight. What do you mean? They dropped you halfway through or what?
half of the seating on a flight to book half the flight
Oh,
out. Sorry, yeah. Thank you
gotcha.
for
I was
that,
being
yeah.
silly. Thank you. No, you're welcome. But I just
That's
wondering. I don't know.
That's the package where if you want strangers at your wedding, you only book half the plane.
Yeah.
It's the option. You'll have random guests, people that hopefully you've never met.
Hey,
or will
sometimes
meet
those are better
again.
than the family guests, so.
That's true.
One of the other things that they do is a media. And so it was interesting seeing some, but I'm going to show you this, just not the whole clip. This is a group called the Desperados, and they did a shoot in the air. And one of the things that we forget is when we're in zero gravity, sound travels different. So they had to do a lot of figuring out how their sound was going to sound when they were in the zero gravity, and they're known for their bass. And so how they were going to include that, because you're only really looking at 15 to 25 seconds of weightlessness at a time. So yeah, here you get a little bit of a clip here. Come on, there we go, window.
I'm ready.
There you go.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it was,
Internet
it
killer.
was pretty neat to see what they could do. I didn't go to the one with Tony Hawk. I can only imagine if they could, I don't know if they put a ramp in there or whatever, but
You never know what's going on in the skies above you. That's all I'm saying.
who knew? Like,
You know, there are
again,
people busting a move at 30,000 feet. It's crazy.
well, and again, that's her,
30,000.
yeah, media, but again, all this, all this about Musk and Bezos and Branson, and it was like, okay, there's been something out there for a really long time that gives us 8 minutes of weightlessness.
Mm.
The big difference is that Bezos and those guys, they went into space.
Not really.
This jet is
Not close.
staying below that line. We're only at 5 miles up. They're like, I don't know, 20, 30 miles, whatever up. They're way up there.
26, but NASA says that they weren't supposed to get their flight wings anyway, so astronaut wings or whatever they're
Because they weren't technically in space.
space. They only made lunar.
Yeah. They're
Orbit.
still, yeah. They weren't even in a lunar orbit. They weren't in orbit at all. They
Oh,
they were-
okay.
no,
they just
were
kind of
not.
went up to, near space.
They went for a powered flight. It's not
Yeah.
the same as going into space and actually, orbiting, right?
Mhm.
No,
and
true.
just because you take a ride on a plane, you're an astronaut. Well, by that definition, I've gone up on commercial flights to Caribbean and Europe. I must be a pilot now,
Totally.
like, because I've been on the plane, right? I should be a pilot.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
should be,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
But
just kind of
What I thought
ludicrous.
everybody was fascinated, I understand that was all about the engineering and getting the possibilities of safe and reliable, right? But everybody like focused on this, the weightlessness, right? Which is huge. I mean, that's an opportunity of a lifetime, and here it's been here for how long?
Yeah.
I just happened to stumble on it with, doing the continuous clicks on links, and went, what's this 0 G's? And went, holy cow, look at this. Right.
You know what surprises me about the whole taking people into space thing is that I've always thought, oh man, I'd really love to go. But if it came down to it where I got the call tomorrow saying, okay, Ivan, you've been selected, let's go. The answer is no way. I'm actually shocked at how many people actually were on those. I thought it was just going to be Branson and maybe one other person that he paid a lot of money or that was thinking about committing suicide anyway that went. But there are tons of people who want to go. That's shocking.
If I had the money, I'd go in a heartbeat, but I don't know. If someone
I'd
paid for
go.
me, I'll go
Why
in a
not?
heartbeat.
That's a great
Go into
experience.
space. That whole dropping thing, no thanks.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be
it.
kind of, yeah. Oh, I'm talking like actually going to space more than I
Yeah.
am talking about the flight thing, but yeah.
It's kind of included in the package, though.
Like if they beam me up, okay, I'm there, right? But just to the whole strapping yourself to a big bomb,
Wait a minute.
that-
Pulling all your atoms apart and molecules, and then trying to put them back
Seen
in
it
the
work.
right places.
Listen, I have seen it work. I've seen it. In fact, I just watched the last Star Trek, the first last
okay,
series
Star
again,
Trek,
and
yeah.
it worked really well.
Yeah.
It worked, right? I saw
I think
Spock go
that-
down a Vulcan. I know what happens, right? It works
I
great.
really think being beamed is a little more dangerous than being strapped to a bomb, believe it or not.
All right, listen, folks. Anybody who disagrees, please comment.
Listen, can you
Hello.
imagine getting
I'll try
beamed
either one. I'll try either one.
and you get somewhere and you go, oh, I'm missing my legs. Oh, I'm missing a couple arms. Now what do I
Wait a
do?"
minute, these belong on the other side.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
So
Well,
yeah,
that's
we
my
I still
heart
build
in
an
San
Iron Man suit
Francisco.
about any of it. So
we spoke
that's the
up.
comic book geek in me.
I just
Okay,
wanna learn how
Sheila.
to
Sheila,
teleport.
would you get on a rocket and go into space? Would you actually get on a rocket and go into space?
Well, okay, price notwithstanding, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, but I have to say no.
Show me where the launch pad is. I'm going.
What? You guys are hardcore,
Yeah, me
man.
too. I'd try it.
Yeah.
You, Teresa?
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Wow.
To fly a spaceship around.
You know who has the balls in
I
this
want
man.
to. I want to be captain of the other.
You know what?
I'm just so
I tell
surprised
people.
it's-
Just make sure life insurance policies are up to date. That's all.
Good point.
what about Victoria?
I'm so surprised it's getting more and more affordable. I know it's $75,000. It's a huge amount of money, but it's getting more and more affordable. I do
No,
remember.
7,500.
Well, that's for the airplane, not doing space.
That's the airplane. That's not
But
space.
Yeah,
still,
it's
airplane. I think airplane is still huge to go there and just enjoy that gravity, zero gravity. I'm not too sure if I will do that, but I think it's an extra. It's amazing activity to do that and experience that. But I think it's getting more and more affordable. So maybe down the road, it will be less.
It's like the plasma screen TVs.
Yeah,
Already.
exactly.
It's like everything.
Well, you know what happened with the plasma screen TVs, right? Just didn't work, right? So, good analogy.
But what I'm wondering, like from the health perspective, so do you need to show that you're able to do that? Do you need
You'd have
some
help
there
weight?
would
Yeah.
there'd be physical requirements. You can't just if you're
Okay.
not in physical shape, then you're not going up there because it does stress your body, right?
Mhm.
There would be physical requirements.
I bought a lot.
You're
Yep.
thinking about it. Yeah, you have to be
Thinking
8 years
about it.
old, so nobody younger than 8 was one of them. And then they did have a real basic medical form, and that said anything that you omitted from the form, you take responsibility for it.
Okay.
It was just like neck problems, back problems. Do you take medication for anything?
Heart issues, no doubt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and that's it. You don't forget, you have to, not only do you have to do your obviously the extra COVID stuff, right? But you have to go through TSA safety, right? And be cleared to travel. So it's just like getting on an airplane, only, you know, a little more extra stuff.
It is an
on it.
airplane, really. I mean, you look at them.
Well, they are, yeah. Sorry,
They just-
airplane for a flight to go somewhere. Yeah.
Yep, they just go up higher, right?
Yeah, because I mean, now we're gonna have COVID restriction or COVID protocols, I should say, sorry, right? In place for sure. And so, yeah, it's the same process to get through there after you've had all your instructions in your flight suit and customer service, right? For that $75,000 or $7,500, I'm sorry. Not only are you getting the flight and the experience, but they're videotaping it and taking photographs. And you are in your own flight suit. So you leave with that flight suit. And then within a couple of days, they will send you all the pics and videos of that, right? So
See, all this
My question is if business, if we're going to see more and more of these, obviously, you know, Elon Musk is getting ready his massive, you know, heavy rocket and sending people up to the space station and to the moon and wherever else. If this is the way it's going to be, how do small businesses innovate for that reality? Can you imagine if today getting into space, getting to the space station, getting to the moon is a natural, normal thing, right? Because when does he say he wants to start putting people on Mars? Like, 2025? Well, obviously that's not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is that even if it's 2030, that's going to be most of our lifetimes, right? So therefore, by 2030, you're going to have space travel being a normal thing. How does small businesses, I mean, is that out of reach for us, to be able
Someone
to
has to make the spacesuits.
Someone, yeah. What about apps that track, where things are in space? Like,
So when you get
It'll
down to
spur a
earth,
whole new, it'll spur a whole new tourism industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But say something like that. Yeah, I'm the writer here. Travel writing's my specialty.
That's right.
Oh, I can write
Wow.
about it.
Oh my goodness, that would be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
And not only that, they're spearing off. Okay, there's about a dozen American cities that I can see that they frequent because they know they've got to be able to land their jet. Obviously, they need a big enough runway. So they're helping with, let's get them in the same hotel so we don't have to go around. Let's make sure that they don't have a real big breakfast, but you'll give them lunch if they want it when they get back. Right?
Yeah.
Forget first aid training. You're going to be training for people to be qualified to go into space. I mean, there might be a whole industry set up for
Who
that.
knows?
Right?
They have a shop too. They got hoodies and teas and yeah.
Transportation. Maybe the transportation from one city to another city will be much faster from one country to another country.
Thisgreatgalaxy.com.
Hey, and you guys, they're gonna need marketers.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, I think we've got a right here. We should get. We got enough.
Great consortium.
Yeah.
Transportation
you guys
from the
market, I
hotels.
write. Catherine trains.
Right.
Yeah, transportation from hotels to the space, like wherever the airport is. Right?
Thomas is going to create the system to buffer us as we beam from one place to another, right? You got to be buffered before you can.
You are not going to trust me with moving body parts through life.
You first, Ivan.
I don't trust myself to do that, so there's no way. No, but I was even thinking like this might not even become mainstream, but it opens up the whole conversation, because how many times have we heard, like on Discovery Channel, where they're talking about building that underground tunnel? It's one of two. It's either the underground tunnel that connects Russia. It's supposed to basically be like Asia to the U.S., or the submerged tunnel that's supposed to be connecting North America to Europe. I've seen a bunch of them on Discovery Channel. They're talking about this could help progress like other ideas, maybe where instead of going that way, the conversation of speedier transportation, cross continent kind of thing, right? So, or even across ocean, but it opens up. You're looking at different technologies at this point, right? So, I mean, again, if you are shuttling people across to go from launch pad to landing pad, maybe the Hyperloop becomes more, or something like that becomes more, mainstream as well, too, right? Because Musk just builds it up himself, or somebody privatizes it because he's opened the designs to open market, right? He's open sourced it, so anybody who's willing enough to take that a route or something similar, it becomes other technologies become cheaper to possibly produce.
Yeah, and Vegas is one of the locations that they use their airport.
Well, yeah, I mean it's Vegas, right?
Why not?
Everything's bigger in Vegas.
The rush of landing off of a spaceship. Why not drop you off in Vegas to drop a couple of $100K at a casino, right?
Yeah.
And not only that,
Listen, if you're going to gamble on anything, I mean, it seems like space travel might be a good thing.
and then you're waiting at a casino taking bets on whether or not the thing's going to blow up, it's going to make it, and who's going to puke, who's going to puke in the cabin, who's everything, right? So,
oh my god,
one of the videos I was watching,
stream it right into the casinos.
I love it.
And after you throw up, who's going to crash into it because it's going to be out there
exactly
floating around in the cabin.
hey, if they bet on like who gets a paper cut, then yeah, you can go with who's going to get puked on and who's going to get covered in it, right? So I mean,
what's going to happen, right?
Oh yeah.
They say that
Vegas has got the underground Hyperloop with autonomous Tesla 3s under the convention center, or Model 3s under the convention center right now. So they've embraced all this. So why not, right? So
yeah, it's their conventions, a couple things, right? That it connects.
Yeah, they've got a track under their convention center for like testing and all that, and it's all autonomous. Like the cars, you can actually call one of the cars to come and pick you up, and it drives you around. They got an underground like Hyperloop street basically that kind of travels up. It's a close range of the from the convention center, but yeah, it goes around to kind of travel you around the bit of the Vegas area underground. So
yeah,
well, they talked about building that thing in California, the loop thing, where you can go from Los Angeles to San Francisco in like an hour and a half or something.
Well, they've talked about doing it in Calgary, from Calgary to Edmonton too. Talked about it from Toronto to Montreal. A lot of people are, the only thing I gotta wonder is, and it sounds as you gotta have. I don't think a lot of people would want to just for business too. You'd have to have like a vehicle compartment to that point where you load up like a vehicle into one of those trains. You can't just expect to have people go in just by themselves, right? So you got to figure that part out too. And how does that change? Does that make a difference in the weight of the travel? Like, does it change travel time?
It's just like when you go on the plane. You rent a car at the destination.
At some places, yeah, but I mean, but say for example, for myself, Michael, like I mean, I'm going to do an install. I got to take all my tools and everything with me, right? I've got to find, as a service industry, right? You would need something. Like, you can't. I mean, what am I going to do? Throw my tools randomly into the back of a luggage cart kind of thing and hope for the best? I want to put them in a vehicle, right? And does that weight throw off the distance or the travel it can speed? Like if you throw in, I don't know, 2-3 dozen cars. Are you going to screw up the weight and possibly speed potential that it can reach?
You'll probably have to pack it into some kind of like suitcases for
well, that's
transport.
Like they're going to put it in like much like they do in like a ferry where they have like that come underneath, right, the underbelly. But I don't know, does that really change the dynamic of the travel experience? Is it do they put their vehicle only train where they come they'll be behind you by about an hour kind of thing, right? So
yeah, they could do that. I mean, they do that with the Channel, right? Where you go from England to France, where you have the commercial trains that go through with passengers on them, and then they have all the freight trains that go through there with.
That's true. They could do something like
goods,
that, yeah.
Right?
Because then something like that would also open up, because if you're running stuff like that, you can also run extra cabling. Like you can start connecting like rural communities too. If you start running a Hyperloop, it's going to have to run through something. If you go above ground, underground, it's going to run. You have an opportunity to run. A lot of times what people are doing now when they're building these tunnels, they're building almost like a service underlay or right above, and they're running power cables, data cables, so you can start reaching these rural sections of your country or area, right? So
and they've always had them. They were just considered service tunnels.
Yeah. Well, that's just it, right? And now people are actually utilizing them, right?
Utilizing that space.
Yeah, I think the Channel actually uses a a smaller tunnel between the two big ones. And then they have these entrance doors so they can go to, because there's two main tubes, right? And they have the one smaller one in the middle. And that way they can service both sides from one service access.
Yeah.
And that's what they're also doing with, I know we're kind of veering off, but they're doing it with plastic roads. Now that people are like in Europe, they're trying to use recycled plastic to make roads and sort of like Lego pieces. The Netherlands is very big on this. They're doing a lot of pedestrian sidewalks and bike lanes for testing purposes. And they do, they have like, they have chutes down the side that where they run fiber optic cabling for obviously to connect the roads to a center where they can, because what they do is they use LED displays to put, you know, directional arrows and traffic alerts and everything. But then what they also do is they run extra cables to you know, the fiber cables protected to connect other communities and stuff. They use them as trains for. So it would be interesting to see what can be done when something like this starts being utilized. So
I can't remember what they were mixing into asphalt, but 20 some odd years ago, I saw a thing on
recycled
TV.
tires, I think what it was.
Yeah, where they were mixing them in with asphalt, and because they had a darker black component to them, it actually made the roads not ice up until like -2 or 3 degrees. So
Yeah,
they
they were
didn't have to
stickier.
have as much salt on the roads. And in Europe, where it's a little bit warmer than here traditionally, that allowed them to, in some areas, just eliminate the need for snow plows and sanding and stuff like that.
So now they just put them in playgrounds.
Yeah.
Right. That's all our playgrounds are now.
Yep.
Until they
Hey,
come up with
I
something.
take the girls to those parks now that they've been renovated with those with that like recycled tire mat. It's got a little bit of a bounce to it. I feel like a big kid jumping around kind of thing. So I'm cool with that.
Back in the day when they put gravel down, yeah, you know.
You scrape up your knees, you brush it off, and keep walking. Right? It's like drinking out of the garden hose. Just you'll be fine.
That bounce technology was actually, they started that in the 1980s, actually late 70s. And I can remember being in high school, I ran track, and I've ran on normal tracks like McMaster and stuff that were paved. And then we had this track meet one year at York University, and they had this new track in with this rubberized compound. And it was really, really weird to run on because they were setting all kinds of records on that track. Because, yeah, there was like some bounce to it. It absolutely absorbed some of the shock of your leg coming down. So obviously less injuries for runners and stuff. But yeah, it changed a lot on timing. People ran a lot faster on it because of that extra bounce that was in there. And that's old technology now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just like turf, how turf's evolved as well, right? From the pellets where your legs were black from the knees down when you got off the pitch. And really poor drainage to where now they're pretty well, very little black. I mean, that was probably what, 8 years ago, the last time that I saw a pair of shoes come off of those, and technology is leaps and bounds now, right? So yeah, the bounce is much, much better for the soccer players as well. But baseball's got to have grass, don't you know?
I thought it was all dirt.
No, just the bases are dirt.
Oh,
Everything
I don't
else
know.
is
Yeah,
grass.
that's why they're talking about tearing down whatever the heck it's called now.
Sky Dome.
Rogers Center.
Is it
Oh, yeah.
Rogers Center still? Yeah.
I'll still call it Sky Dome, but
Sky Dome, I know. I
Sky
know.
Dome.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why they're talking about pulling that down, because only the infield is grass, right? And everything else is turf out to the warning crack. So I know. Can you imagine the rubble pile from that puppy?
That's why my daughter's going to move, because she lives up the street from it and they're putting condos in front of her. And she's like, I'm not going to live in a construction zone. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
They hadn't played there in almost 2 years. They could have already had it torn down and built by now.
Totally.
Yeah, it was only 667 days, or how many ever days it was. It was crazy. When we were watching that first game, that's all they said was how many days since they were last at home. But yeah, they're calling for completely open, which is like everything old is new again. right?
That'll be great come November when there's snowstorms
I
and stuff. Like,
know.
and the stupid thing about it is,
Why
if
is
you
it
look
different
at
than
that,
a football game?
look at that
That's the
building. There's
same as-
absolutely nothing wrong with the building. Like, why are you tearing down a building that's 30 years old?
Yeah,
Your
it's
buildings
ridiculous.
stand for hundreds of years, even stadiums, right?
Mhm.
Now the Coliseum's still around, maybe not in perfect condition, but it's still there.
That's true.
It is a bit
That's
rough.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah, I don't know, because again, that was the whole thing about getting rid of the exhibition place, right? Yes, they wanted more space. I understood that, but it was an open air, and all the delays that we would have for rain delays or weather delays,
Mhm.
you know, if it snows, it's okay, but if it sleets, which it often does right by the lake, it canceled baseball, football, you know, well, now soccer, they're still open, but yeah, that's pretty nasty, you know? So I don't get it. I don't get it.
I love what they're doing down at Ontario Place. We were talking about that last night.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's
I know.
another.
That's such
I
a
hope-
vanity project, though.
It's
Is
a
it?
what?
It's a total vanity project.
So in
Oh,
other
for
words,
sure.
an
Rob
election,
Ford,
an election
yeah,
project.
he wants, and when he loses the election, because he doesn't seem to have good polling numbers, when he loses, he wants to make sure that there's a legacy that's left behind. It's, you know, classic
Or-
politician.
Yeah. classic
Ontario
word.
Place was terrific. I remember going there as a kid when it was just opening
Totally.
up,
Yeah.
and going into the IMAX theater.
Mm.
There was a movie they played, North of Superior, where they
I love that.
you fly in the plane and you
Mm.
felt like you were moving, and I'm like,
Yeah, that was great.
I'm going to throw up, and I'm not even in the airplane, right?
North of
It
Superior.
was such new
Wait a second, didn't you say
technology,
you would get on the
Yeah.
space flight?
right? And
Yeah,
yeah, you
that's
know,
why we were going to see who puked first, right?
Yeah.
And now we know who to bet on.
That's right.
but yeah, you know what? It was a neat place, and it was packed in those days. And I don't know what happened that people stopped going there, but it really is, as far as I'm concerned, that is a jewel that should be rebuilt. Put something there, because it is such a great spot for people to
I think
enjoy
they
on
have
the
to give up on
waterfront.
the igloos. Like,
And
come on.
you know, you don't want another subdivision on the waterfront. You want a place for the people, and that's what Ontario Place was supposed to be, was a
Mhm.
place for the people of Ontario.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do something with it, rebuild it.
The igloos are pretty useless, I must
Is there
admit.
igloos there now?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, the
Nothing
balls,
now.
the expo balls, right?
Right.
Whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Well, the
So-
ball, the big ball is actually the theater. That's the
Mhm.
IMAX theater.
Yeah, but they didn't keep any of it up. When I was working in Toronto, it was closed, and then somebody said, "Oh, you're doing a course there," and I went, "It's open," and it had opened for that short period of time, and
Oh,
by the time I went, "Oh, are we going back?" It was closed again,
Mm.
and those were not taken care of. Like they weren't
Oh,
used
no.
for anything except
Wow.
storage or us gathering as a group to get our
Mhm.
missions and stuff like that. And so walking over some of those walkways, you go, "That was a funny sound that I just hit,"
Oh no.
Mm,
you know. So I always held on to the railing.
mm.
Just saying. But anyway.
that was the birth of IMAX. IMAX was a Canadian company, Canadian
Oh,
technology.
is that where it started?
That was the first theater in the world.
I
that
grew
had
up in
IMAX
Niagara Falls, so
technology. Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up with IMAX, right?
Yep.
We had the IMAX theater that was just off Maple Leaf Village. But on that note, look at the time.
Wow.
I know it went quickly.
Oh,
Thank you for
yeah,
your
okay.
participation.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was a good topic for sure.
did I just walk over somebody? No? Okay, good. So again, thank you for coming. Don't forget that we have the Women's Business Club at 1 o'clock today, either virtual or in person at Radius at Augusta and James Street in Hamilton. And Teresa will be leading us on Zoom. Fingers crossed that that's going to work just the way it's supposed to. Thanks for coming in and helping me check that out, Ivan, you know, just saying.
Yeah, 'cause I noticed this morning when I was looking, you don't actually have like on the newsletter, I don't think you have radius you can put down there. Maybe I've missed it, but it does say about virtual, like with Zoom,
Mhm.
on the
Oh,
more details, it goes right to the Zoom.
I think the ad has Radius in the ad.
Maybe I didn't see
Yeah.
it, but I was
Yeah.
in a hurry. Yeah.
and then on Monday, we have Ivan, Coffee with Ivan, talking about how to do long-term business relationships and I'm sure the benefits of it, right? And then on Wednesday night, no, we'll have Sherry's Mastermind at 1 o'clock on Monday, and then back to Wednesday night with Stephen in Investment 2021. I want to again remind you that bringing guests are great, especially to the Women's and Ivan's show, right? Bring guests, they're free, but the women's will stop being free, the Women's Business Club, beginning of August. So remember, it is go to this great city. And right on the front.
September. Yeah.
What did I say something else?
You said August.
It is August.
Yeah. September, beginning of
Are
September.
you sure? I thought we were May. Yeah, you're right. It's the first meeting in September is the last free one there.
Yes.
So remember, you can go to this great city and join as a member. And if you're not a business or your friend isn't a business, get them to join as citizens. All right.
Awesome. Thank you,
On that
Kathy.
note, have a great weekend, folks.
Totally.
See all you ladies at 1. Bye.
Awesome. Take
Yeah.
care.
Hi, everyone.
Bye.
I had one more question for you there, Ivan or Catherine.
Yeah.
What's this Tuesday open door thing I saw in the newsletter? What was that?
Oh my
That's
goodness.
Funny you should ask. Yeah, so the open door. So what I've decided is members have questions about different things, whether it's marketing or just things that they're struggling with their business or whatever it is. So we decided, just like some corporations have an open door policy, we have an open door. So if you have something specific that you just want to ask, you can come into our office by just jumping on the link, the open door link, which I've actually put the link right into the website in the calendar, which is on the homepage. Just click that link and it'll let you into the room, and then we can have a conversation about it, right? So that's what the open door is, and it's just to help members that they don't want to wait until the following Monday to ask a question, so they can just jump on at any time and ask.
Okay.
Yeah, so we do that from 9:30. This is a really long period of time. It's from 9:30 until noon on Tuesdays. It's an experiment to see how many people use it, and if it's something that's used a lot, then we'll just continue it for members to just kind of have access. And sometimes it'll be me, sometimes it'll be other people. So if I find that people are asking about things that I cannot answer, then I'll get a member that wants to be available and wants to answer questions. I'll just put them in the schedule and say that they're going to be the person doing open door.
Gotcha.
Aren't you glad you asked?
Absolutely. That's
got a
why I
whole
asked.
novel.
Yeah, I
asked questions.
apologize. This was the first week and I completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
But see, that means I read the newsletter.
That's right, you did. That's
There's
right.
Teresa,
Thank you.
yeah.
Very good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
All right.
All
Have
right.
a good weekend.
Take care.
Bye,
All right.
Peter. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Peter.
Yeah.